Hello everyone. Hello. I'm back. So I'm back doing a Mochy and Gaz. I was watching the Merit Open, and the first match that popped up on the screen was Gaz and Mochy. So I thought that I had to do a little run through, and thanks to the CCTV cameras in the hotel, we've got footage. There's Chris, there's Radu. Oops. But we got no sound. Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second and we don't want that. All right. 44, 41. Okay, finally, here we go. Sorry about all that kerfuffle. I'm going to be stopping the video and trying to just identify what each of the players is thinking. And you might have guessed, but well, we're going to guess that Mochy thinks for longer than Gaz. And then after each game, I'm going to transcribe it, I'm going to put it into XG, and we're going to see whether or not our comments were on point, whether they were decent. Okay. So this is a genuine, I mean, this is, what do you do here with a 3-2? What are my thoughts about this? Well, not really that very much. Basically, you're up in the race, you've rolled 11, your opponent's rolled 4, 3-1, so you're going to be 12 pips up. So in that way, you want to just race. Therefore, you possibly don't want to leave 2 blots on the 11 and the 10 point. But then again, if we go back to what it looks like before the play, you kind of make it difficult for yourself if you just play 13-8. So your opponent maybe splits next go with rolls a 3-2 and plays 3 and 2, and then you've got all your checkers on the 8, the 6 and the 13, and then if you roll something like 6-2, well, that will come out. What am I talking about? 5-4, you're going to leave a shot. So just an innocuous 3-2, my point is that you have to really think it through, and how do we conclude what is right? How do we come to a decision? Like, what is, if we're going to choose between 13-8 and 13-11, 13-10, maybe we use the race as an indicator. Maybe we use the fact that our opponent has his 5 point and that it would be bad to hit. But basically, I think to understand this play, you really have to know the difference in value between making your numbers play well after you have brought two checkers down to the 11 and 10 point, versus the negative value of probably making some of your numbers play less well. And I think that's the key to the play. And I have learned to my cost that sometimes you just have to, even though you've rolled a 6-5, you don't want to get hit, you kind of have to do this. Otherwise you make your numbers bad. So that's my thinking. I kind of just spouting a load of nonsense. But I think that's kind of what we're looking at. So the 3 is going to be forced because you're not going to play the 3 from 24 to 21. But you could play the 2 from 24 to 22. Okay, then we have a 4-2, and it looks automatic to make the 4 point. But notice that Mochy is thinking, and I absolutely endorse this way of playing, this mode of approaching the game, that even though you know that the 4 point is right, you still say to yourself, well, there's no harm in just checking, thinking that maybe another play might be an option, and double 4 just looks forced. So I'm not going to stop the video for forced plays. So 4-2 double 4, and now 5-4 again looks forced. But there's a wrinkle here, and we'll see it on the upcoming plays, because I have watched some of the first game, but no more than that. So I really don't know what's coming up. But what I notice here is that our opponent has 2 checkers. So from White's perspective, our opponent has 2 checkers here. And generally, if we leave our opponent to roll his full roll, he benefits in that he is likely to make an extra point. Conversely, if we stop our opponent from having his full roll, then we stop him from developing his position. So there is not an argument, but there is some inclination, let's put it that way, that's a better word, to hit here. Now, you can suggest hitting, but you can automatically dismiss it because it rips a checker off a point that you want to use for other things. There are no covers, and well, that's probably about it. What more do you need? So what we're going to do is we're going to play, not automatically, we're going to see the value of, or we're going to understand and have insight into what we kind of need to do in this position to stop our opponent from proceeding how he wants to, and then we're going to reject the play that does that. And so we end up with the same result. We play 13-8, 13-9, but we have a totally different thought process about it. So Mochy has played the 4, and then he plays the 5. He's not even going to... Is he going to set up 6-1 on the board? Not for this one. So things like 4-1, 3-1, 4-3 would have made the bar for Gaz. 4-2 would have made the 4 point. Double 4 again is pretty much forced. I'm not going to stop the video for it. He has to redistribute his checkers, and so if I'll stop the video now, but for example, what I thought I often have in mind is that when we can afford to leave 3 checkers to some extent, because if we get hit on the front of those checkers, then the checkers that are behind it cover it, in the sense that they offer return shots when we get hit. Now, that's not to say we want to get hit, but it just allows us to make the play that we want to make, which is the play that redistributes all the checkers and makes 2 extra points in board as well. So this is the I've seen the footage, and Mochy immediately sets up a hit here. Although he didn't do it last time because, and presumably trying to identify what he's thinking that along the lines of, well, if I just let my opponent play, then he's going to develop his position. If I stop him from playing, then he's less likely to develop his position. And but again, for the reasons that I said earlier, that there are no covers for the ace point, and that it's also just so bad when you get hit back. I don't think you can afford to hit. You just have to leave your opponent alone and let him do what he wants to do. But we notice like the time that the person devotes to the move. So this is still running in normal time. In fact, I'm not sure if I've seen past where, I don't think I've seen the point where Mochy hits his clock, so I'm not sure that he does play 13-9-6-5, but I would be surprised if he didn't. So 13-9-6-5 is that, and then that. And setting it up on the board, and now he's thinking how the numbers play. So he does hit, and I forgot that I had seen that, and I would be very surprised if this is the right play. And now, before we might have been able to have seen that Gaz is about to roll, but I think he should give more thought to cubing. So again, I can't really offer a rule in this situation, but from my point of view, if I'm black, I can see that 11 shots are going to be pretty crushing. They're the ones that hit on the 1 point. Then 3-6 will obviously hit on the 16 point. And then I'm considering what my position will be like if I just come in and don't hit. And it's okay. And now that I've had a little bit more time to think about what my position will be like after I come in and don't hit, I can see it's just about okay and not really that great, in that white will have the initiative and I will have 3 blots out here. So perhaps I'm reconsidering whether or not I should, that sort of inclination to cube here. The other thing I notice is that we've got the open 3 point. Let's say we had those 2 checkers on the 2 point. On the 3 point, then of course it would be a lot stronger. But if we hit with an ace and then Mochy just comes in and doesn't hit back, we must be satisfied that he wouldn't be taking the double next go. And we know that we double when we have market losing sequences, or a certain number of them. How many, I'm not qualified to say, but maybe if a quarter of our numbers are good enough to lose our market, taking into account what he rolls in return, then we can be fairly satisfied that it's a double. So anyway, Gaz doesn't double, he fans. And you see, like with the follow-up, I mean, yes, he didn't roll a 7 or an 8 or a 12 to cover the blot on the ace, but you see how badly now you can get clues. He plays this very quickly. I don't know, I'm not really sure what I would have done. I might have taken more time, but maybe you can't do anything else. But the fact is that after he's done that, now he rolled something maybe a little bit worse than average, and he's now had to leave this configuration, suggesting that the play that hit on the ace point wasn't really what the doctor ordered. And now I think there's another blot. If I'm thinking of cubing the next go, the previous go, and I think it was close, then it must be even closer, or if not, actually a cube now, and Gaz doesn't cube double one is really tricky. I don't really know whether you want to make you can make the 9 point, you can make the 8 point. If you come up to the 22, then you give yourself a 4 and a 6 to escape and hit, so that must be good. So how do you balance up weigh up the priorities? It's really difficult. But remember, we're going to put this through XG with the panel closed, so we don't see the answer until I click and open up the panel. But so he goes for the 8 point. That seems natural, but then you just don't get 4s and 6s to come out and hit. You only get 6s. So in this scenario, of course, you would be a lot better off on the 22 points. So I'm suggesting that had Gaz come up here, just for this particular number that Mochy rolls, as in, if Gaz had come up to the 22 and then Mochy does roll this double one, then Gaz would be far better off, and definitely a double. I don't know whether it's a strong double, probably takeable, just about, I don't really know. But now he's back on the 24, suggests that, well, he's nowhere near as good, and it suggests, again, this idea of looking how the numbers played after. You get this idea of, oh, maybe I didn't do the right thing the go before. Now, it could well be a cube, 3 men back, 1 man back, possibly, I don't know, it's difficult to assess, but still he would be far better off on the 22. Is he going to double? Well, if you roll like a 2 or a 1, what can you roll it with? You can roll a 1-6 or a 2-5, it's going to come straight out, you're going to be pretty happy. You can roll a 1-4 or a 2-4, you can handle can you handle a 1-3? Not really. So 3s aren't going to be good with your 1s and 2s, but 5s are. So if you look at that, just coming up to the 23 point or the 22 with a 1 or a 2 is okay. You're not going to be too disappointed with that. And maybe if you do that and then Mochy doesn't roll a 6, maybe he has to pass. Maybe, lots of maybes. Difficult to. And then what I tend to do is look at my worst rolls and see how I fare. Like maybe the 5-4 is not so good. Maybe 1-3 is the worst. I'm not sure. But when you look at it, there aren't that many bad. So he's had a good thing, which is, and then the 2-6 I didn't even consider, and now it's going to be too good on almost every return sequence. So it seems like at some point in the proceedings, Gaz has lost his market, but he certainly shouldn't double this after he rolled the 2-6. Certainly not. So what happened? So another fan, so 2-6, another 6-5, and then another fan, just so I remember what to transcribe. And now a 4-1. I don't know, but I'm not going to take too much time over that one. It's sort of a... You do leave return shots, of course, if you make the... And there's really not much to say about this. He's just going to sort of 3-point. Gaz is going to play on. (6-5) into the 3-point, fine. And then probably has to escape a man, otherwise he might crunch. I might be inclined just to bring the man into the 6-point like this. But again, not such a crucial play. 2, 3, 4. Now, do you play 6 to 5? I'm not sure. Probably not necessary, actually, because white's likely to break his... Actually, no, he's not likely to break his board because 5s are going to play for the ace point. The only thing that would be really bad are 4s. Okay. I'm never going to be able to remember this for the transcription, but I'll have to swap back to the video. 6-4 comes out. Okay. So he's got 6, 9, 11, only 4 off. He gets hit, a pass probably. Or not probably, definitely. Unless Mochy rolls a 1. I'm not too concerned about this. 5-2. There's a little bit of yep. Gammon is close. What's going on? Yeah, this is God knows what the right you are. Yeah, I think I would stay. Now if you roll a 3-1 or a... What's right here? Let's say he had 2 checkers on the 6 point, he could keep his board. And this is the thing with backgammon, is that sometimes you forget things that you should know, but maybe that's not the best way of approaching it. So he's got some chance of saving the gammon if he comes to 16, but then again the gammon value is not that great. I mean, it's only a 1 cube. Alright, we got some transcribing to do. Okay. So, Gaz rolled a 6-5. Mochy rolled a 3-1. Gaz rolled his 3-2. Played 2 down, didn't he? And then Mochy rolled a 4-2, thought about, looked at making the split play. I believe Gaz rolled a double 4. I could be making mistakes. And then Mochy rolled his 5-4, all very backgammon-y sort of stuff. And then another double 4 for Gaz. Mochy hit with the 4-1. Easy. Gaz fanned. Mochy rolled a 5-1. Gaz rolled his double 1. And I think with this, I'm going to have to check on the video. I'm going to have to get the video up on the other screen. Oh, hello. Yeah. Go on. No, it doesn't want to get this. Okay. Yeah, Well, I'm pretty sure he can we still see the yeah, we can still see it. Good. While I fiddle around here. Just want to check that this double one so I don't enter it in incorrectly. Okay, yeah, he did do this. Mochy rolled his double one. And I think he played like this. Anyway, so Gaz didn't double, he rolled his 6-2. Mochy fanned. Gaz rolled 6-5. I think Mochy fanned again. Gaz with 5-2, Mochy with 5-1. Alright, we're going to dispense with those plays and we're just going to look at the plays that we discussed. Here we go, here comes the panel. So the 3-2s on 4 ply is very close, between 13-8, 13-11, 13-10. It doesn't really help us when plays are that close because we don't know what makes up, what the ingredients of each play is. And then the 4-2 is all these plays I considered to be false, and then this 6-1 where Mochy hit on the ace point, sort of experimental. Close no double. 5-1 is fine, and then this where, yeah, I thought this was going to be a cue, and I would have come up to the 22. Yeah, we could see that after the play, coming up to the 22 was going to be much more beneficial, and then Yeah, we can see, well, I wasn't sure either way, but being back on the 24, I'm hoping I wouldn't have cubed that, and then it became too good. Um, we can get Mochy to resign a gammon here and go on to the next game. Right, so back to the stream. One sec. Here we go. Oops, I thought it said 0-0 on the scorecard. Blinking this, okay. What? Why is it? What? 52. I think it's begins about 55. Okay, come on, come on. Can't put all the plays in because it just takes too darn long. It's just too laborious. Very good, okay. Alright, so 4-3, 2 down, like you're behind, so you play aggressively, that's fine. I don't really feel comfortable with it myself. 6-6, yeah. Then this is already a bit awkward. Natural play, just make the 10 and split. You need to split because he's obtained an advanced anchor. Okay, we won't talk too much about that. That seems obvious. That is what you need to do in the position. And now you can obviously hit and run. And if you get hit back, it's not so bad. You've got the bar point blocking in those two checkers. And he might not hit you with a 6. And if he does, what he would have had to broken his mid 1. Is that right? Or not coming all the way around? Okay, that looks unusual. Hold on. Let me just, I'm assuming it's right because Mochy didn't really think too much about it when he doesn't think. So So my instincts was to bring this check around to the 10 point to start with, and then I don't know what I would be doing with the third checker. So here, I wonder why my instinct is to do that, but making the 5 point, well, it's not that it doesn't come without a cost, because when you do, you have to relinquish your blocking power on this checker, and the 10 point exerts some blocking power on that checker. So it's not like it's a free shot to make the 5 point. The other interesting thing is that Mochy just played 8-3, which leaves a blotting board. Yeah, I think I would consider playing 2015. I'm not saying making much coherent sense here. I'm trying to put into words what I see in the position. It's quite difficult. I would like to have some sort of contact on this checker on the 18 point, that's for sure. And then by lifting the 10 point, I lose that contact to some degree. And also by making the 10 point, I noticed that I'm really making the 5 point, excuse me, I'm really wanting to make the 5 point with checkers from the overloaded 6 point. And by making them from the 10 point, I prevent myself from using those checkers to make the 5 point. And which is a question of efficiency, which is a really important concept in backgammon. But anyway, Mochy plays it really quickly. I mean, eight to 3 looks unusual. Yeah. 5-1, you will just play safe. And if you want to maintain maximum contact here, then you have to make the 16 point. If you make the 20, then your opponent can play behind you. And then you have to consider where there are in fact any numbers which he would need to play behind you without leaving the shot. But it seems that you do have to make an anchor of swords, so you have to reject the 2 point, even though Gaz is 2-0 up and is less inclined to double. So it looks like the compromise is to make the 16 point. And this is just anti-strategic, just to come all the way out, and even to come to the 22 is anti-strategic. So even if he can play, even if he can, there aren't any numbers that need to play behind now. There might be some later on, and once you lose that back contact, you lose a lot of winning chances. So it could also be. I don't think it's going to be the right play, but you could consider coming all the way around to the 10 point. And then you notice that what you really wanted to do as well was make the 3 point, and then you start to think, well, could it have been right to slot the point? If you're desperate to make it, then which I am, then could it have been so incumbent on you to slot the 3 point there, or should you perhaps have looked for another option? Now 6-3 would have left a shot anyway. I don't think you would have been able to play that safe. So anyway, Mochy does make the 16 point. And Stephen Shaw says, greetings from across the pond. Hey Stephen. How are you doing this morning? It must be early for you. So Gaz plays two down. 2-1, I suppose you have to hit. You can't just let him win the game, so you have to hit, and you can duplicate a 3, but then you give him extra shots. So he comes up, 2-1 just hits right back. Double 4 is, you can hit on the 3 point. I think you have to do that, or you make the 6. Oh, hello. I didn't see that play at all. Well, I mean, I didn't consider it. So 1 in. And if you're not going to hit, then why wouldn't you make the 16 point? Is there really such a deterioration in your game by losing the midpoint? I don't. Well, there is a little bit actually, because a little bit. The checkers on the midpoint are exerting some control on his checkers on the midpoint. So, if you decide that leaving the midpoint is too damaging to your position, then by elimination you have to make. Well, you could make the 4 point then. So it's interesting that Mochy played that really quickly. I mean, you could just, you've got 3 to play, by the way, so you could just make the 4 point and then bring 1 down. And then, of course, you improve your board, but then you lose your blocking potential. So these are blocking double 5s. Well, they're blocking some 5s, but they're not blocking they are they're still exerting some sort of blocking potential anyway. But having said that, returning to this idea of hitting, I think the reason why I wanted to hit is because, again, this simple concept of denying our opponent his full roll, and if we just let him roll, then lots of his numbers are going to be either very crushing or even more crushing than they would be. For example, if we hit double 3 is slightly less punishing for us in that, well, yeah, I think so. He'd prefer to just point on both of our checkers on the 22 and the 21 point with double 3 than to have to come in and hit with one of them. But in addition to that, things like 3-2, 4-3 are probably, maybe they're not actually that much better than they would be if Mochy hits, and the 3 of course would come in and hit back, so I'm not sure actually. So perhaps, and that argues against the necessity of hitting to deny your opponent his full roll. Okay, unloading on the 2 point. You have to hit and make 3 point, although it leaves a bunch of shots. 2-6 hits back. Fanning is probably a pass. 4-2 is going to come in and hit. And then cubing, possibly. So 4s are going to hit. Okay. Maybe nowhere near. Let me just rewind that. Oops. Comes in with the 4-2, and then what have we got? We've got, oops, we've got 4s to hit, 2s to hit on the 4 point, but we've got a bunch of checkers back. We've got these to get round. We've also got 5s to hit on the 3 point, so something like 1-5. Well, 1-5 would probably come in and hit on the 3 point. 5-2 would come in on the 20 and hit on the 4 point. So when I'm looking at whether or not it's a double, I'm looking at what all the numbers are going to do for me. And then visualizing what the position will look like after I make that play. But of course I have to know what the right play is with each of the numbers, and it's really difficult. And it takes work. But that's what you got to do. So yeah, I'm just wondering why I thought it might be a double, but I don't think it is. Just because Mochy doesn't, and it doesn't seem, and now it's way beyond a take at this score. There's just, I'd be very surprised if, so what did he roll? A 1-2, so for the transcription, so I get the transcription right, and yeah, he rolled a 1-2, didn't he? And Gaz is going to pass. How quickly is Gaz going to pass? He's looking at his phone. I mean, I'm not even bothering to. There's just so much death and destruction going on in this position that it's just completely untenable. Yeah. Hi, Oliver. Yeah, I mean, it looks just like deadly. I wonder whether you were talking about the go before when I thought it was a cube. So he hasn't passed yet. Or I haven't got it on play. I have. But he takes. I don't get that at all. So of course you can make the point, but you can also just hit, and maybe you have to hit because Gaz has got a blocking board, and that enables you to play big and really try and stop Gaz from making the anchor. Okay, interesting, Oliver. That's all good stuff. So yeah, something like this, and then question whether you want to play really big and play 13-9, which gives you more covers. But this looks reasonable. Crazy take, Oliver says. I don't understand the take there. And this could well be right. This could well be right, but the 3, now you've got all these blots. This is what I'm seeing something extra in the position. If you just do this and Gaz rolls a 1, a 2-1 or a 3, then you've got all these blots in the position that really would be dying to kind of join in on a blitz. And now you're saying, oh, go on, mate, make my blitz fail, make your anchor, and then I'm going to have checkers that would have done me really well and would have served me very well, and now they're going to have to scamper home with their tails between their legs. So I am thinking that you have to hit just to, like I said, prevent him from anchoring. So Mochy's played 8-4, 24-23. But then, you know, we don't want to overcook it. We can see that being hit back is really unpleasant, even when he's got a block on the 4 point. So Mochy is going to play, and he's going to play 24-23. Is that necessary? I'm not sure what that does. And then the 3. Okay, it makes you think that you've made a good take, but I can't see it myself. And that cleans up everything, double 1. So easy for the transcription. Shouldn't forget that. 4-5 we can run, but I don't think we do. We would like to unstack the stack on the 7 point, but then we don't have a reasonable 4. It looks like the race is close, but probably not in our favour. And I mean, what I'm thinking is, can we really consider coming off the 22 point? So the interesting thing about running off the 22 point is that even if you're not ahead in the race, it does solve a problem of getting one of your back checkers out. So people might correctly identify that it's far too dangerous to run off your ankle. They might correctly identify on some level that they shouldn't run, but what they may be missing is that the backstop position is that maybe you should run because it's really advantageous. So he does run. Well, let me just stop that. But I was trying to make a... So the starting point of our endeavours is that you have to realise that you do want to run, and then you realise then that you can't run because you're 2-0 up, holding a 2 cube, and that it's too dangerous to run. And of course you consider the race in that. So I mean, after the roll, Gaz is 74, 102, 114, 122, 128, and Mochy is 32, 26, 58, 28, 197, 190, 127, 131. So judging just by a race analysis, being 3 pips up makes it dodgy to run. And now these are tricky. Like, really, if you want to just win the game, you're going to be up in the race, then you need to disengage and bring your checkers from the 16 point round. But if you make the 7 point, you probably win more gammons. You probably win more gammons. You have to pay up. You have to leave a 4-4 and a 6-2 anyway, or you have to leave some sort of shot. This can work with an open 5 point. Question is, the thing that I'm looking at is, let's say you do this and assume Gaz's position doesn't change, which it obviously has to, and then you roll an 8. Are you really happy to hit on the 3 point? And I think you're moderately happy, bearing in mind that Gaz has got this open 5 point below his arm, and he's got 2 checkers, 4 checkers, but 2 sort of horrible checkers stacked up on the 7 point. And at 2-0 down, there is some gammon pressure on you. There is some gammon pressure. There we go. There's the 5-3, there's the 8. And are you happy to hit? Well, yeah, I think, yeah, maybe you are. Maybe you are. And you win so many more gammons in this variation. So we're going to say that it's reasonable. I think he's going to split the checkers on the 16 point. We're going to say it's reasonable to have played the double 6 in the way that we played it. And now what's technically correct here, just bring as many rounds as you can and just try and not get hit. So, and then question whether you're going to slot the ace here or not. If you do, then you get hit with 1-3. So yeah, I wouldn't do it either. But anyway, not a big deal. Not a big deal. So 6-3, and we might not bother playing this game out to the end. We're just going to switch now to we're going to switch to the analysis. I'm going to transcribe, carry on transcribing, try and remember what went on. Oops. I can't even remember what the first roll was. Dearie me. Usually that helps. So Just looking through the video just to check what the first roll was. Oh, hello. Oh yeah, okay, 4-3-6-6. That's how it started. I think. Okay, so Mochy rolled a 4-3. Which is obviously fine. Hello. 6-6. Yeah, we got the score right, 2-0 down. Then the 3-2. Where we make this, and we do that. Gaz rolled a 3-2. Where we agree with this play hitting. Then we rolled the 5-5. And this was strange, but he played it quickly. And then 5-1 was played like this. Hello, 6-4. Mochy made the 16. I think it's really slow. No, the video's not playing. Gaz rolled a 6-3, had to leave a shot. I don't really know. I didn't consider this play too much, but maybe unstacking is okay. Leaving ones and then Mochy rolled a 2-1. Came up with the 2. I think unless I'm gonna. Gaz rolled a 2-1. No, I can't remember what happened. Uh-oh. I think Gaz rolled a 2-1. Yeah. Ah, right, okay. Then Mochy rolled his 4-4. Made the 2 point. Did that. Gaz rolled his 5-3. And then Mochy rolled the 2-6, right? And came in and out. Gaz rolled a 4-2. Mochy rolled a 2-1 and hit. And Gaz fanned, right? Something tells me I've gone wrong here. I can't fully remember. And then Gaz took this cube. I can't believe he took this. And then Mochy rolled the 4-1. Came up. Gaz rolled the 3-2. Looks like it was. No, Gaz analysed it. Yeah, 3-2. Mochy rolled 1-1. Made the points. Gaz rolled his 5-4. All easy stuff to remember. Mochy rolled 6-6. And then I don't remember what Gaz rolled. He rolled, did he roll 3-1? Oh dear, come on. I think because I didn't really know certain things that you pay attention to. Did he roll a 3? Yes, I think he did roll a 3-1. And played them in. And then Mochy rolled the 5-3. Hit. Gaz fanned. And then Mochy rolled 5-1, I think. Or not. Does it matter? we can just leave it there and then go on to the next game. Whatever. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's have a little look. 2 down is going to be right at this score. Even though it's a small margin, we need to prioritize the concepts, and it's just more likely to yield us an attacking cube to come down to the 10 point and the 9 point. So with this 3-2, it's actually really close between making the 10 point and slotting the 4 and making Mochy's play. And then really close between getting the guy safe and hitting twice. So this one I was really confused about, but Mochy made the right play, and I looked at coming out and making the 5 point. He has played safe. Then with the 6-4, actually playing 24-28-2 is okay. 6-3, slot the 3 point is slightly better. Then Mochy hit and came up, duplicating the 3s. And then, yeah, Mochy made this weird double 4 play, and both the plays that I considered were better. Hit, hit. Oliver thought this was a cube. I don't think it is. No, it's not. And then it hasn't analysed the double yet. I cannot believe this. Maybe it could be. I don't know. No, I'm not so sure. Now I'm not so sure. Yeah, thanks. Hey Justin, thank you for the 3-1, and yeah, it is a pass. You can see you go the -1. I'm just waiting for this XG to hurry up. Firstly, with the 2-1, Mochy shouldn't hit. And this double, this take is humongous. I wish it takes so long to... Okay, so making the point is right, and hitting on the 3 point is a blunder. Okay. Gaz should have just played 13-4. Yeah, I didn't think it was right to come off the anchor there. And that was that. Alright, let's go for one more game. I'm flagging. So, let's get back to the stream. Mochy did gammon Gaz. Okay, alright, go back to the input, and let's resign the game for Gaz. Oh. 3, so that's right, 4-2. Now we go back to the stream and pay attention so we don't forget what happened. Let's go. Let's go. I think at this score 3-3 you just play normally. It's not such a gammonish score actually, five way through, where you think there's still a fairly high priority on winning a single game rather than just going all out for a gammon, so that you would then just revert to this normal 21 and 10 play, and then Mochy's going to have to split in some way here. I think he can afford to play 24-18 because it's better than splitting to the 22 point, but let's just have a look at that. Let's just have a look at what's happening with that 6-2. Oh. So the reason I want to split there is just because I want to get my checkers as far out as possible. So I'm suggesting, not that it's the right play, that it's just better to split to the 18 than to split to the 22. But then of course if you split to the 18, then you're going to have to play to the 11 point, which leaves another block. But then it duplicates a 6-1 that would hit on the bar point. The 6-1 would also hit on the 14 point. And then what I'm looking at is what other numbers are going to hit me on the 18 point if I come there, and how bad is it? And it's not that bad. I mean, if he rolls like a 3-1, it's not even such a bad number for him. He's just going to make the 7 point and I can just come back in. But if he doesn't roll well, he could miss and roll a 5-2, and then I'm much happier, I think, to have made the 18 point anchor. So basically what I'm driving at is the relative importance of the two anchor points, and just basic visualization can see that give us the answer that we prefer to be on the 18 point than on the 22 point. And then the last thing to take into the equation is that perhaps the checker from the 13 point is a little bit better served on the 7 point, in that it's always going to be able to exert its function, whereas, well, not always, because you might get hit on the 22 point, but if you put it on the 11 point, it's going to get hit with a 6-1 or a 5-2, and so therefore can't be used and goes all the way back. So that's what I'm sort of thinking about. But also the other thing that is that the number of rolls you have to make the anchor on the 22.42, he makes the 4 point. The number of rolls you have to make the 22 point are fewer than the number of rolls that you would have to make the 18 point if you had the checker on the 18 point. You only have all 2s and double 1, which is 12 numbers, whereas on average you're going to have 15 or 16 numbers to make the anchor on the 18. So anyway, Gaz makes the 4 point with a 4-2. Mochy makes the 5 point with a 3-1. I've already forgotten what the first roll is. What was the first roll in this game? Gaz rolled 3-3. I think Mochy must have made the bar with 6-1. Gaz rolled 3-3, and then Mochy rolled that. Yeah, okay. 3-1 he makes, 5-1 he makes. Okay, so Gaz is probably going to be cubing. Well, he might be cubing next go, but not now, not after we make the anchor, and then we have to safety the checker on the 8 point. There's no discussion there. 3-2, I don't think there's much discussion, or, I mean, there's not much to this play. You either You probably are going to make the 10 point, but if you don't, it's not a big deal. You just play 10 to 5. But he is thinking about it. Oh, he just plays 13-8. Okay, fine. Yeah, you can do that because he's got a plotting board. 6-1 hits. And now Gaz can't cube. I'm not going to stop the video because I'm getting lazy. I don't think Gaz can cube this. And this score, three hits on 4 makes, and now this is different. Is he going to stop? Yeah, must stop at least, and I think this is probably a cube and an easy take. The point is that the checker on the 22 point is really vulnerable, and any hit and not hitting back is, I think, a big pass, something like this, or maybe not a big pass. So any hit and not hitting back is not going to be a pass. I revised that. I still think you need to cube this. Even if you come in and you don't cover, it's not so bad. Now I've just lost track of what Mochy actually rolled. Alright, he rolled a 2, came in with a 2-5. Seems like Gaz isn't going to cube if he didn't cube the previous one. Down to 7 minutes. Okay, I'm wrong, it does cube. Of course, much is going to take. Double 3 will either switch or hit loose, I'm not really sure. Okay, fan. Of course he's going to play 2 to 1 to hit. Makes the, oh, is that right? I don't know about that. Okay. 3-1 comes in. A6 will come in and come out from the 22 point. Yeah. And I might just stop here and put in what we've got already, because we've got the juice of this game, and this is just going to be the this is the after party. So yeah, that's what we want. So anyway, it was 4-2. Mochy rolled a 6-1. Hello. Why are you going back to that? Mochy rolled a 6-1. Gaz rolled a double 3, which I think he played correctly. Let's have a look. Yeah. This is only 2 ply, but still And then this 6-2, which, yeah, probably. No, it's not right. Okay. No, I was actually right. So all the stuff I'm saying seems to have some sense to it. But anyway, Mochy split like that, and Gaz rolled a 4-2. That's what he did, because I remember talking about how many numbers make a certain point. Mochy rolled a 3-1. Of course, he has to make the 5-point no double. Gaz rolled a 5-1, which was a good number, made the 5-point. And then Mochy rolled a 2-6, and I think he has to safety the check up on the 8-point, but I'm not sure. Okay, yeah. Fine, yeah. Anything else would be a big blunder. Then Gaz rolled. What did Gaz roll? What did Gaz roll? 3-2. And he just played 13-8, which is weird, but probably fine. No, it's not. 13-11-10-7. Slotting the bar, which we didn't see in school. Duplicating the 4. Okay. Anyway, and then Mochy rolled the 6-1. Hitting. Don't think Gaz could keep this. But I think he rolled a 3-1. I think. No, I've forgotten. There was a cube. It was a cube. I think Mochy rolled a 4-1, but I'm just checking the video because I can't remember. Yeah, he did, and then I thought Gaz should cube, but he missed a cube already. So how big is this cube? Big enough, I guess. 1-4, and then I think Gaz rolled a 5-1, and it was a smaller cube. I can't remember what he did with the 5-1. This is terrible. Okay, he did do that. He did play 10-9. So before the 5-1, the computer thinks it's not as strong. So I got that completely wrong. I got it reversed. Anyway, Mochy rolled a 2-5. Hit. And Gaz did double. Again. I've got complete memory loss. Okay, alright. And I think it's going to be pretty much take back. This is where he doubled. She took, of course. Gaz rolled a double 3. He hit. I think Mochy fanned. Gaz rolled a double 1, which played like this, made the bar. which is good. And that's pretty much where we got to. And because I'm flagging a bit now, didn't get too much sleep, so before when he's on the bike, this is a bigger cube than this. I don't fully understand why. Because when he's on the bar, he has to come in. Obviously, you can hit the man on 2-point. Anyway, guys, that's my little run through of the first half of the Mochy game. I might, well, try and finish it. Might actually, probably not, but it could have ended with a backgammon. But anyway, alright. As ever, thank you guys for watching.